this? What have I done? What do we got here? All right, so we got Junkertown, Widow, McCree, Reaper. It's a little interesting. It's a lot of the Reaper's at least interesting. Diamond. Hello, everyone. I'm a low diamond to low to mid diamond hit scan main that would like to get better at the game. I was on a huge losing streak, and I admit I got tilted after we lost the first point. P.S. Can you please call out every mistake I made when I played Widow, and give me as much advice as you can on playing Widow and how to improve on Widow. Thank you. Give me some more permissions, please. All right. So I get to be harsh. My favorite. Love this. Finally home. I haven't played any games in like a month with finals work. Peppa hands. We're rusty as hell. You dude, I feel you. That was me recently. All right. See, the audio sounds like on your guys' side. I can always turn that up or down, depending. Okay. General tip to anybody ever. What is wrong with what he is doing right now? Wait for it. Oh, so this is really dark for some reason. What did he just do wrong? Now, if you must know, on Junkertown, if you go in the spawn, on the attacker spawn, if you go on the right side as Widow, there's a small window hole you can look through, and you can see everyone on the enemy team that jumps out this window. So you just scouted to the other team, you are using a Widow. That being said, the amount of people that actually know that spot exists and actually do it, probably really small. But if you want the absolute element of surprise to them not know where you're going to be, especially if you're going to set up in a more predictable spot and you're playing against a good Widow, especially people who play Widow on this map, I would say a lot of the good Widows probably know that spot because they want to be able to know what they're going up against. They know where you're going to be. They at least exist. They know they have a Widow. You don't know if they're going to have a Widow or not. So always go out this door. Down here. Always. Can you show the spot? I can try. I gotta remember where it is. This is the same spot. I'm not gonna restart the lobby again.
Get the payload moving.
You can get good at this and you figure out what heroes look like very quickly, especially if you start to figure out character models. It's not easy. You can't, not everyone's gonna you see a flash go by and know exactly what it is, but if you're a good Widow dueler and you understand what another Widow looks like 99% of the time, even if it's just for a millisecond, you'll know when they drop over here, they have a Widow. And that's why you don't drop that window. So yeah, don't go with this window. Come out of spawn, just like this. It's one of the few places in the map or in the game where you have to be very careful where you're coming out of spawn from because you don't want the other team to know what you're running. And jumping out the window like this screams, hey, I'm running Widow.
Hello there.
Alright, where are you going to take positioning in the beginning? I don't know if this has been edited or something, just the color is really weird. So let me take a quick second. Epic pen. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
It's very passive positioning here, but all right. I personally like the rock on the side, especially you're in diamond. I feel like you totally get away with it in diamond. The rock over on the right side over here. See if you zoom out. Yeah, it's over here. Looking into the spawn over there. I totally like that spot a little bit more, but hey, I'm okay with this. That's also the thing about diamond is an area you gotta start to learn to experiment. Plat is the place where everyone flames each other if you're not playing perfectly, quote unquote. So everyone just plays like a robot and tries to play like exactly how they're supposed to be playing, but never takes risks, never goes for any kind of plays, never experiments, never plays aggressive. It's just basically two passive battles going forward, and then one person plays aggressive for a second, dies or whatever, and then the whole team flames them. So it's like Diamond's this area where you want to start experimenting a little bit. Like I said though, this is fine for now. Nice. Only thing I don't like here right now is that your Ashe is also here, so you have 0 crossfire with double hit scan into an Orisa shield. So you're getting minimal. You could get a lot more done if you were just putting pressure from a different area, or the Ashe was putting pressure from a different area. That being said, like as this cart gets closer, I'd probably move towards the right side and start using. You know what? I'll just pull up here. Where is it? Junkertown? Am I blind? There it is. Okay. Junkertown first. You're set up right here right now? That's okay, but your Ashe is also here. I don't think I have this update. Oh, there it is. So Ashe is also here. So both of your sight lines are straight down this right now, which is okay, but against an Orisa shield, not great. I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. If you start, once this, you know, fights start to divulge and go forward, I'd like to see you start coming over here. Like I said, I like the starting point of over here a little bit, and then you fall back, and then you start to experiment. But being over here just creates that other sight line. So if you just get rid of this one here, oh, that's not what I wanted. Get rid of this one. You have a much wider space of control, especially with hit scan. Also, another thing you should be keeping an eye out for as a sniper is, especially if you're putting shield damage like this, the second shot right here, you should have noticed something. Ready? Watch the shield right about this area. You see it? It cracked. That means it's probably below 300 HP. Or somewhere in that range. When a shield's like 300 HP or below, especially when they're running squishies like this, instead of peeking back here and waiting and start looking for something else, the second you saw that crack, right? And I know you're looking for something over here, but this is split second little stuff. It also works with Reinhardt's too, is right when you're looking for this to crack, ready? Instead of having your crosshair here, have your crosshair here. Because when the second that drops, that Zen's gonna take a second or two to react. You'd already be ready for it. Blow his brains off. So instead of having to react and then you see it break and then move it, then try to line up the shot, line up that shot before it breaks the shield. Widow's much more than just clicking heads. Yes, she's a very mechanical hero, and yes, you do have to have the aim to actually hit the shots eventually, but make the shots easier. Don't make them hard. Plat is shit and still garbage, true. I'm in gold, everyone tells me to switch off Widow XT. I mean, to be fair, I've played in gold, and I've had people flame me, tell me to swap off heroes before. It's like, if only you knew. So it's a lot of the time with silvers, like I've had a few instances where silvers tell me like, oh, like, I mean, I'm trying my best. I've been having VOD reviews done. And I'm like, oh, okay, like who's VOD reviewing you? And they're like, oh, my friend. I'm like, okay, what's your friend at? It's like, oh, we play together. I'm like, okay, what does your friend play at normally? There's like, oh, they're also silver. I'm like, all right, so you have the blind leading the blind. That doesn't get anything done. But you got to be experimental. You have to try to just do the work, start to learn some stuff on your own, because your teammates are going to flame you like 95% of the time. You just have to be okay with it. Either just ignore it, learn to fight through it, learn to deal with it, or just start to trust yourself a little bit more. Because I guarantee something happens. I have a feeling something happens this game. Because Diamond, there's a Widow on your team. There's going to be some flame. It has to. Get the good pick on the Widow, though. That was nice. This is the other thing, though, about... Okay. So you see how your Ashe is right here? The shield's going to break right here. You see it, and you're going to take the shot to help break it, right? That's just fine. But if you saw that the shield was about to break, and you were, say, over here, you could be waiting for that extra shot. You wouldn't have to be spending that time doing shield break. Because that's not really Widow's job. And look at how much, you're under so much pressure over here. You're not going to get anything done. So you're going to go backwards a little bit? Would be okay. Go out on the right side, maybe? Pretty exposed here in the middle. Not really There's a shield there. You're not gonna get a lot of done. Okay, if you back off here, that'll be good. Unluck. Okay, so this isn't great where you're standing. It's actually pretty poor. So I thought you were gonna do this. So you look for it right there. You look to back off. So what that would look like, instead of being right about here, you would have went back here, which is fine. If widows play back here in this no man's land area, you're actually pretty safe. This is actually pretty good. You got a good amount of cover. You can kind of hang out. Nothing really going to pressure you other than the enemy widow. And if you know she's peeking for you and you just sit here for a second or two, and she is, where's widow? Over here. And she's just staring at you the entire time. She's not doing anything else. She's just waiting on you. So it's like, yes, you can peek back and take the duel, but you at least know that you're still doing something being back here. Where you were out here is just no man's land. There's no cover. You can't go this way quickly. You can't go this way. This isn't close enough to use. And then they also have a shield right here that's peeking straight onto you. So, clear surface. Okay. Not great positioning. Pretty poor, realistically. So the better place to either be would be to go off onto the right side here. Let me show one more time, sorry. So either I went off on the right and controlled this area, so you could either come behind, you could have been playing back here, which is another sight line, because your team is over on the other side. So who would I pick? Where's Orisa? Okay, so Orisa's over here, so she's probably going to reshield either here, 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 somewhere in this area. So if you're over here, you actually create a great crossfire. Yes, you're a little more alone, but you can get a little bit more work done. It's just kind of risk reward. If you're just constantly thinking about positioning, or like you start to know about your positioning without having to think about it, and you focus more on aim, then this kind of stuff won't happen as often. But at least I could see you're thinking though, because like you went to go under the shield to shoot. Like that's good. Like you couldn't get a lot done, like because the shield's in the way. Shoot under it, get a little bit more damage. I like that. That's good stuff. Yes, you won't get the headshot on it, but hey, you're still trying to be useful. Is your team gonna clutch up? Okay. So, all right. Here's a hot take. I don't like doing shots like this. Like if you think like for a millisecond you might just like possibly get him really quickly, like with the luckiest flick, I like to take a second, right, and like see what's going on. Here's my reason for it. You know that you have a widow to duel, right? A lot of good widows will sit over here once they push you out of the point, right? Once they've killed the enemy widow and they know that they have free time, they go over here. The fact that you just shot at this Lucio now tells them, the other widow, hey, the other widow has respawned. She's probably in that window up there. So when she peeks, she knows she's going to look for you. The problem with the shot, though, you know, is if that widow was already waiting there and you went for this shot, you're probably dead. Or if she's waiting, if she's just on the off angle here, scoped here, and hears you shoot, she can probably turn this corner and still kill you before you can kill her. Now, don't get me wrong. That's very small millisecond differences, but one, hey, they asked for everything. And two, once you get higher up, those widow duels are decided by very small outplays, very small positioning, very small waiting games. Like I've seen one of my friends is like a 4500 widow. I've seen him literally like just sit on like a corner, like right here, just not shoot at, like, let's say there's a Marissa here, a hog here, and they know there's a widow over here. And the widow's not peeking. He will sit here and just wait. The second the widow turns, kill her. Not take shots at anybody else. Just wait. Because if the widow is the big threat for them, you kill that other widow, you win the fight, because then you're free. But if you spend your time killing the other tanks over here, that widow gets a free shot on you, bang, you're dead. It's not it's a lot of mind games. It's honestly, widow duels I would honestly compare a lot to main tank mind games, because it's a lot of who's going to shoot first, a lot of who's got the better positioning, who's got the sight line, attacker versus defender, who needs to peek who, as well as mechanical aim. With main tanks, like with Reinhardt battles, like, you know, are you going to be able to fire strike? You know, are you going to get shattered while you're firing striking? How's the shield's placement? How are they aggressive? How are they not aggressive? Stuff like that. See, I'm worried. I'm really worried right now. I mean, you guys won the fight. You got 3 kills already. But, like, I'd still be looking for that widow. Like, you just heard her shoot, though, so you know you're safe. But Now that you know where she is, nice shot. Now that you know where she is, you should be on high alert. If you don't have walls there, I don't know if you win that battle. But hey, you know what? That was good. Nice. You killed her. But see what I meant though? Oh, sorry. Wrong button. Once the cart is around this area, especially on Junkertown, this is the best spot for the opposing Widow to be. She has the most sight lines out here. Oh, this is just garbage. This is trash. Let me go. She has the most sight lines that she could have while she's here. Nope, let's not use that one. Let's use this one. She has... Fuck. She has all of this. All the way here. Technically not that. Right here. Like, she doesn't have this area. But then she has all of this. She is back here. Over here. Like, she controls all of the sight lines. Like, that's unheard of amount of control in Overwatch. Just from that spot. Especially because Junkertown's such an open map. But... you just got to be aware that that's probably her best spot. So that's where she's going to look to be. Now, I say that because you're in Diamond. Once you get probably above, a little bit into GM, a little bit above, Widows know that that area is over there is the best. So then they start to think ahead is, hey, that might be my best spot, but they're waiting for me to be over there. So how do I kill them? You know, they might peek main for real quick to see where you are, then try to hook shot. They might sit over on the side and wait a few seconds, wait till the fights go, wait till you fire a bullet, hear you fire a bullet, then peek. Stuff like that. It's a lot of mind games. But hey, nice shot. I don't think, from what I've seen so far, I think mechanics are pretty good. It's good. I like that. I haven't heard any comms yet, so I don't know if you're in voice or not. Also, I just realized something. Hey, Mac, if you are in chat, can you please ping the guys whose VOD this is? I forgot to do that because my brain's lacking oxygen because of moving, so I'm kind of just completely brain dead. Ballsy going for that, but hey, you know what? Fuck it. I think you might have saw him vape or something, and he was screwed, so go for it. That was good. Also use very low grapple hook, whatever the audio assist is, so that's good. I like that. Okay, so this is actually really smart. The head bobs, but the fact that you're in this position is bothering to me. This is just kind of walking through no man's land. So you know the walls is up. Why not just chill here for a few seconds? Right? Oh, you already did? Awesome. Why not just chill here for a few seconds? You know the walls is up. Wait and listen to see who's pushing you. See if you can hear their tanks coming. See if you can hear anyone coming. You can even actually move back towards over here if you needed to. And then you can start to work back here. And be fine. But going across this while walls is up and you didn't know where their Widow was? Ballsy. I'm not a fan of that, but hey. That's just... I don't like to take risks like that. Hey, we didn't get to that part of the clip, did we? Wait, I don't think we saw the bullet. If Zen didn't shoot and give you a second to react, that Widow probably takes your head off. Unless she sucks. Which she might suck. You don't ever want to be in the open like that. It's not your job. Nice. Beautiful.
Team up for special attack.
Beautiful.
Cease your resistance.
Careful now, careful. Where are you going? Where are you going this way? Okay, your team rolls here, but I do have a problem with this rotation. So, right, you get the both the sniper kills, so you are free as fuck now. Right, you are free. When this happens, there's a wall behind you, right? So you're up here. If you're really pressured, just take a step back. Or, what I would have liked to actually see you probably do, especially if you're going to drop, you could have actually went out this way. Because the shield was somewhere around here. Where's the rest of it? Somewhere around here-ish. You went over here and just create an extra sight line. They're not going to kill you over there. They have an Orisa. They have a Hog. They have a Zen. Nobody's getting over here to kill you. You gotta, I guess, think of what you can get away with. So getting with your team here is quote-unquote okay, right? But that's not how you make plays. That's not how, you know, you start to push boundaries. That's not how you start to be a complete piece of shit Widow. And I mean piece of shit is from the other team looking at you like, fuck this Widow, I hate them. They're such a problem, and they start tilting each other trying to want you dead. But I know that fight was already won, so everyone just kind of cleans up. But hey, let's say that fight was 2v2. I mean 4v4, 2 people had lost on each side. I don't like being that close to my team during that. I just don't. Especially the bad tendency that you have is if they go dive here, if they went dive, you're very close to your team every time. Not a big fan of it. Otherwise, mechanically, doing good. Very good mechanically. This is fantastic. Beautiful. What the fuck? Actually nuts. Actually fucking nuts. Discipline. Beautiful. Orisa shielding there. Oh, that's a little questionable. Okay. So this is one of those things where I don't like why you go group back with your team again. Why do you leave that spot? That spot is powerful. You're up a few. Play aggressive. You got 30 seconds to go here. You get a few more kills here. Stagger kills. It's over. Oh, they went dive. Oh no, I might see how you lost this. Oh no. Beautiful. This is what we talked about, you know, not being in, like, with your team, being in places where if you don't have to think about positioning, then you can focus more on your aim. It's because you're focused so hard on your aim here, and you're doing well. Like, you just got like 4 or 5 headshots in a row. It's not, no, this isn't unfortunate. Like, he's standing in the middle of the bridge. Their Hog finally fucking made a play and hooked him. If you're over on the right side here, instead of dropping and going behind your team, I bet you still get those picks. I bet you still do all of that, and you're safer. You're just kind of frontlining here a little bit. And all it takes is one person on the team to finally make a play to take you out, which is clearly the one doing a lot of work on your team right now. And don't get me wrong, even by this first point alone, you've done an absurd amount of work. And that might be just enough to break it open. Does Lucio jumping extend his hitbox? Not that I know of. Just the whole point of jumping is you don't jump because it makes you more predictable. Like, it makes your path easier to predict and shoot. See, this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier with the duels and having to know where the Widow's going to be and not sometimes shooting at the tanks to win the duel first. You see the Winston jump, so the first thing you go for is the Winston because the rest are in this shield. I'd rather see you wait a second or two and wait for the shield to leave, like go back, peek around, wait a second or two, and then come back and try to keep killing him instead of going for that, because hey, I don't think they have a Widow anymore, but if they still had that Widow, she rolls you right here probably. And that also, oof, that's fucked. And that's also saying that we're not playing as a complete shit tier player. We're playing against good players every time. That's what we want to expect. Yeah, so this is kind of unfortunate with the Zen killing you. But part of it is just taking the shot from the Ashe before. You've been dumpstering this Ashe the whole time. Focusing your attention onto the Winston for a second and then not dealing with what is probably much better for you to deal with. Especially jumping out of your sightlines. Like, you weren't killing him. Waiting a second or two and waiting for that bubble to go away and then actually killing some stuff, you probably actually be okay. I'm not saying you win this fight, but hey, you're in a better spot. Oh, I feel it. The tilt just came in. Better choice. Good job. I appreciate that you did not type the really. Also, your FPS is dropping like crazy. Okay, all right. Let's see. All right, so this is kind of what I was afraid of. Earlier I mentioned that if they go dive here, you're probably going to lose because you play so close to your team. And it's actually not that they're killing you. It's your target priority gets thrown out the window when there's dive tanks. So this Winston dives the high ground. So instead of taking that opportunity to kill whoever's going to peek here, right? So as a main tank player, what I know is if I dive a high ground like that one on Junkertown, like this one, I am only going to survive for X amount of time. And I know that if I'm running a... Where is she? An Ana, I will survive for X amount of more time because she will be able to heal me from the low ground. Here's the thing, though. Ana has to be able to see me to heal me. So if she can't see me, she can't. So if I move a little too farther this way or I move too far up, she needs to adjust. So that means she has to go out this way or that way or whatever which way to be able to see me better. And that's where the supports make their mistake. When they come out here, you, we'll grab you from before, on Widow, have perfect sight lines onto this Ana, who's now probably tunnel visioned onto the Winston. Like I was saying before, watch out for you're just going for the SMG on the Winston and walking up towards him to help deal damage. Okay, I can't tell if it's this video or your computer or what, but the frames on this is just, it's killing me. Like what is actually happening? Okay, I think it's the video. It looks like it's the video. So you see the Ashe there. You saw someone else's for a split second. Maybe it was Mercy. Now there's a Genji here. Oh. So you're probably dead to the blade, no matter what. That's fine. But you might have got the Mercy. You might have got the Ashe. But instead, go for the Winston. That's the thing I was really afraid of seeing in your play was, one, you getting dived because you were so close to your team. Your Winston only needs to make one jump, and he's on your entire team. So as a main tank player, one of the biggest decisions I have to make is who I'm going to jump on. Who has the most value right now? Is it the Widow who's alone in the back corner of the map? Am I going to make it to her because she's going to headshot me twice on the way there? Am I going to have a diva to support me? Or is it the Ana, the Lucio, and the Soldier? I'm probably not killing any of them, but it's giving my teammates enough time to come in and maybe position themselves well enough. Also, if I have Primal, whether or not, all that kind of stuff. But if you're all grouped together, I don't have to make that decision. I just go for one, and then we're good. And just like we're good to go. Is it gonna load? Holy shit. Yeah, it's next frame, Pepego. Okay, so you go Kree here, right? And I'm actually kind of okay with the swap to Kree if it wasn't this map. Okay, so this map is long sight lines. If they're jumping you that hard, there's probably a different issue than just the pick. It's probably the positioning. Kree is a good, anti-dive Widow, which is pretty much just, the anti-dive before Brigida, I mean. And, you have the flashbang to kind of keep them off you. The fan the hammer is pretty powerful, and you still get the decent range damage. But he's not great here. It's just not that great here, honestly. In comparison to Widow. It's still a good pick, but Widow, I think, still would have been fine. You're running a Hanzo anyway, so the double sniper is powerful. You want to think that your Hanzo is probably going to play with your team while you play a little bit more on the flank. That way you can look for better shots and whatnot. But the very team play, stick together mentality, I think is hurting you the most. And it's what's giving this Winston as much power over you as he currently has. So now we have the Ashe on the high ground. That's going to be fucking annoying to deal with. There's also a Hog on the flank. Oh my good lord, things are going bad shit too quick. I know you missed the flashbang, but that was missed by a while. I don't know if you just don't understand the range of flashbang, or it's just a mistake. Like, I don't think damage is the problem here. I really don't. I don't think mechanics is the problem. I really don't. I think it's mostly positioning, by far, positioning. Like, if you can hit these good shots, like, make better ones. Like, make it the ability to have them all the time. You see where Hanzo is right now on the back line? First off, yeah, of course, he's fucking dead because he doesn't have that kind of mobility that you have, right? Second, he's not hitting the shots that you're hitting. He's Hanzo. I don't even see him hit, like, almost any at all. Why don't you be that guy that's doing the flanks? Let him stay with the team, and you try the more risky stuff, because it looks like you have the mechanics to pull it off. And that's honestly how a lot of DPS play at higher levels is, you know, dive was so powerful, you know, because of coordination, but in the GM level, like, you know, ladder, not scrims or game environment, you know, Widow was powerful always, and, you know, Tracer and whatnot, because a lot of people could kind of operate independently, but together, if that makes sense. But by far, you know, the stay behind the shield, play shield break against their team, it's just not working for you guys. And I'm not surprised.
Team up for special attack.
Yeah, it's getting, again, you get so much with this, even though he only has like what, maybe 1 or 2 kills. Ryan instead of Arissa, well, whoever this is in chat. Was this your Hanzo? Yeah, that's not the answer. Arissa's fine. Arissa's honestly fine on this map. Your tanks, I don't think, are honestly the biggest problem. I think it's maybe, I don't know, I think I've seen your hog a lot on the flank, but it's mostly positioning. You could do a lot more if you just took more aggressive positioning, more flanks, more like, show off what you have. If you have good mechanics and you can hit these shots, do it. Can I Widow? Oh my good lord. Who said that? Joe 3-star, oh boy. I know you don't want to tilt anybody, but jeez. That's your Widow was fine. Honestly, your Widow was really good. It's positioning more than anything. Okay. So let's talk about this. First off, let's have a reminder to the beginning of the video where we talked about on the right side where you can scout the enemy team and see where they're positioned. So you would know what they have rolling out here. Second, when you're rolling out here and you know what they're rolling out, you know what they have, you can be ready for this. And not jump outside of your Reinhardt shield. If this Widow had more than potato aim, which she had potato aim the entire time you were on defense, that's why I think that your Widow was better, and you were just outdueling her, which is why you can play much more aggressive. You're dead. But you survive here, because she's got a potato for aim. Professor Flats, will this be on the test? Yes, this will be on the test. Slideshow on the test, I'm done. Okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. So you finally decided to go on the flank with the hero with the least mobility arguably in the game. Why? Why? When you were on Widow, this would have been, not this door particularly, you could have went up top and dropped off the side, which would probably would have been a lot more productive. Like if you came over here, up here, over here, and then hooked out, or dropped here and then hooked back. If you got pressured, it would have been much better. But finally went for it, and it's with McCree. And just McCree's just not the one. Like, McCree is good on the flank, quote unquote, if you're very safe. So what would be an example of very safe? So let's see. If you went over this way, would be pretty decent. Other one would be, you know, if you got your team was pushing where this verse is right here, and their team was holding right here. If you went over here on McCree and like poked over here, and then went back, that'd be pretty safe. Or if you were over here, that's pretty safe. Or if you were up here, that's pretty safe. Like, let's say they're still in the same spot, that would have been pretty safe too, up here. But like where you were, it's pretty dangerous, and it's just not the hero to do it on. And I'm just disappointed just because finally you went on the flank, but it was just not the play, not the hero, not the time, not the place. So it ends up just being a feed unlucky.
I've got unfinished business.
McCree's just not the pick here, really, more than anything. But we'll just try to see if we can work with it. So the aim is fine. The aim is good. Honestly. Is it like top tier? Not yet, but it just takes some time. I think if you just make some of these shots easier, it'll probably be a lot better for you. But you make the ones that you need to make. A couple on the Widow, that's nice. I know you're looking for. And honestly, McCree's not the hero. So on Widow, that's what I would want you to look for. On Widow, I'd want you to be looking for the other Widow to win the duel. McCree's not the hero you do that with, though. McCree, yes, you back her off when you can, but McCree's much more versatile in just being able to deal more damage with, like, you know, right clicks, you know, onto tanks. Just he's good in mid-range. But staring for the Widow is just not McCree's job, because you will never win the duel at range with a Widow. Or you shouldn't hypothetically win the duel with a Widow at range. Okay, so what are you going to do here? Okay, so you've seen that they have a monkey on the side, right? So you see they have a monkey, and you see that they have a team that's grouping up ready to go. What do you think? Like, what should I do here? Do you stay with the cart? Do you back off? What do you do? My answer? When you see them setting up like this, and you know you have a Rhine, what can Rhine do very well? Control close range environments, deal good damage at close range. What is Baptiste good at? Stationary, keeping people alive in bunker, you know, don't move, stay where we are, and we'll stay alive capabilities. What are you good at? Mid-range damage. If they drop on you right here as a team, as well as this Winston, you get right clicks, that's about it. You're also very unsafe. You're someone else your team has to heal. You're someone else that they have to worry about. The second you see this Winston like this, if you backed off here, that Winston either has to make a choice to go for you or go for the team. He goes for you. I don't be okay with that. You can try to keep him away with your flash. Start to play for you, like, you know, for some support from like whatever healers you have. Do you have an Ana maybe? I think you have Baptiste and somebody else. You could probably play it a lot more safely, I guess, will be the word. And just worry a little bit more about how you can be effective in this. So this is going to come out, and it's probably going to drop right on your head. Here comes the hog, the right click. He's nanoed, he's going to kill you. That's a 3k. So let's watch this fight. You're not going to get anything done here. And I think you get a right click. That's maybe it. I think it was just a right click, if I believe. Maybe a flash. So they drop. You got like one hit off on it. Pop high noon. If you pop this high noon, like before they drop, like look at the timer, 158. You'd pop this high noon back. Where is it? Back here. When they all drop, before they drop, you pop it here, or even back here maybe. They're all dropping into your sight lines. Either they have to aggress onto you or take cover from you, and you probably get a lot more value. And of course, you don't have to hold it the whole time. You just hold it for a second or two and just try to get a little bit of damage off and just try to swing the fight before they even drop. But where you're standing, you just don't get anything done. You get 0 instead of a possibility of getting a little bit. So you lose this team fight. Ryan's gonna charge, hero charge, he's dead. Whatever.
Back in the saddle again.
But playing that close to your team like that just isn't gonna give you any value. Not nearly what you need. Oof, missed the one shot that you needed to hit. Unfortunate. Okay, so I like this being over here. I will, you know, your Widow's already controlling it, so you don't need to be over here actually. Also, you're running triple DPS. McCree on triple DPS is just no good. Let's be honest, not very good. Nice. Okay. So I know you get pushed away by this hog, but I do need to ask this question. Why run towards the nanoed monkey? There's a few people in this hero, few heroes in this game that as a squishy you have to be like super afraid of, and a nanoed Winston's one of them. If you don't get pushed away by this whole hog because their hog is just 6 IQ'd, I'd be willing to bet you're dead. Yes, you have the field there, but it's dead. It died right there. Nano Winston and you're around 100 health? Get the fuck out of there. You shouldn't have even went that direction. You're McCree. You're good at mid-range, right? So instead of walking towards him at this point, you know, for whatever reason, why not just stay where you are right now? Just stay. Just stay. You know, you keep walking towards him, then you switch to the Ana. That kind of range, you're not doing a ton of damage on Ana anyways. You need at least 3 shots to kill her, unless it's a double dink headshot. Then you'll kill her, but that's, you know, pretty difficult. McCree, go Reaper, please. Reaper? Really? I mean, I guess technically we'd kill the Winston and the Hog, but like, Jesus, like, that's just not... This is a very... 3-stack plat game, I feel pain. I feel a lot of pain here. So, this isn't going to be the saving grace pick. I almost don't even want to watch this, because I don't think this is going to do a lot. Slept. I'm glad you went on the flank here a little bit, like I am. And it's kind of unlucky you get slept. But here's the thing about going on the flank, is this especially for good tracers. Good tracers know how to do this very well. Is they know how to push in when their team's pushing in. So your team hasn't fully engaged yet here, right? So you're like, you see where they are? They're just starting right now, and that's when you appear. The sleep is, they have just enough time to wait, kill you, and then go back to killing them. Actually, Ryan got a nice fire strike. So I'd say you were off by like 1.5 seconds. I'm not saying it's a lot, but you did ask, you know, for every little thing. I'm saying it's like 1.5 seconds. Wait like a 1.5 seconds longer. You'd probably be okay. If you still get slept, you're still probably dead. But just in general, probably get a little bit more done. Just waiting a little bit longer. Is this with a change? Hopefully it is. But yeah, this is... Reaper's not the pick. Junkertown is so... The way to kill Reaper is keep him at range. Junkertown is the longest sightlines map in the game. Like, if there's any map that you want to see a Reaper on and laugh, it's Junkertown. Like, I would never be afraid of a Reaper on Junkertown. I'm afraid of Reaper on a lot of maps, because, you know, Reaper can be pretty scary. You need to focus him as a team, and you need to keep him at range. But not this map. There was some kind of a bot. This is actually a pretty good rotation. Oh god, that McCree though. Oof, the whole hog. You lost that. This game was lost right at the point of where when you were on McCree and they dropped down on you though, realistically. The last like minute and a half was already over. So don't feel too bad about that. I know you tried to listen to your teammates, so I think you're actually a pretty good teammate. I don't know if you just weren't in voice or whatever it was, but either way though, at least you tried swapping and stuff. I think your Widow's fine. I think your Widow's actually pretty good. I think that the biggest thing by far is for you is positioning. By far, positioning. And so the thing about Widow positioning, it's not the same as with like other heroes. And I mean, being able to have crossfires is the most important part of playing, DPS. And this was something that got really explained. I got asked to not keep that on the screen when I talk, but fuck it, I'm gonna keep it there anyways, just for now. Clear entire surface. Okay. Something that was really taught in double sniper meta was crossfires. The importance of crossfires was pretty much just so that both heroes could be trying to get some kind of effectiveness. So let's say Hanzo over here, right? Widow's over here. They can control this amounts of sight lines. On their own, right? So this is Hanzo's. That's what he can control from where he's standing right now. And that's how much of the map he owns, right? He is a threat to all this part of the map. And that's good, right? That's good, all well and good. But where Widow is, she controls all of this, here, here, to here, here, all of this. So here's the thing. If you had your Hanzo and your Widow in the same spot over here, they would both have the yellow sight lines. If you had them both over here, you'd both have the white sight lines. But by having them split, you have the yellow and the white sight lines, which is much more dangerous because especially if you go up against Orisa or Rhine or somebody that is very slow or stays behind a shield, they then have to pick whether they want to have your shield facing this way, or have to balance both. And being able to balance both is not easy. It's keeping your backline safe becomes a big scary problem and almost impossible sometimes. So then you have to think like, okay, you have to dive one of them. Okay, let's say you're not running that slow comp, you're running the Winston Diva. Okay, you're running the Winston. Who do you dive? If they have tanks here, right? Let's say they have 2 tanks here. You have Winston. Do you dive the Widow? Do you dive the Hanzo? Who do you dive? If you dive Hanzo, let's say Hanzo's the bigger threat right now, and you dive Hanzo, right? Look how far away you are from your team. If you dive Widow, you're still pretty far away, but you can kind of come back. Here's where the problem lies. Actually, let's just make it a little more realistic. So Hanzo typically played a little bit more with his team, while Widow played more on the flank. Widow was much scarier, though, than Hanzo to the whole team, while Hanzo was scarier to the tanks. So you had 2 choices. You go on their tanks and their Hanzo, who are typically kind of close together, or at least somewhere in range. So you can go straight for Hanzo, and then kind of loop back for the tanks without having to use cooldowns. Or do you go all the way to fucking Narnia and kill the Widow? Depending on who you're facing. If you're facing a Widow who's just hard carry and killing everybody, Widow becomes the new target. But guess what? Then you kill her, then you gotta wait 6 seconds, and then come back again. And that's 6 seconds, their team's pushing in on yours, killing whoever's over here. But that's also, you'd have to take the risk that your team's good enough to beat these last couple that are left because this Widow was such a problem. Then you have where you would just dive the tanks and the Hanzo. You try to take the Hanzo down, you would try to create some space for that Widow duel. Like let's say your Widow was under here with you, or over here with you, and you had the duel over here, and Hanzo's controlling the sight lines over here. You now eliminate those sight lines because you're on him. Your Widow can now step into those sight lines and then own here, while the enemy Widow owns here. And so they're kind of like, they're just barely offsetting each other. But it's enough so you can start to give like some space. And so that was mostly a lot of double sniper era, and it follows over a lot into other metas or just playing Widow on ladder in general, and just being able to control sight lines and know what your team is controlling and figuring out, hey, if they're controlling this, maybe over here would be better, or maybe over here would be better, or maybe over here is still okay, or maybe being with them is actually the right play, and figuring out which one is the correct one to go for. So like I said before, your number one positioning. Second, I was going to put a question mark, but I just realized it was going to look terrible. Heroes. So what I mean by heroes is just your hero swaps. So you swap McCree and then you swap Reaper. The swap McCree on third point Junkertown was kind of a big think, just because Widow is just better, really. Especially with them running no Diva, just running the Winston on his own. I think you have the mechanics to kill the Winston as he's leaving the ground. Shoot him while he's leaving the ground, headshot, get one shot him while he's in the air. By the time he lands, you can probably SMG kill him, or at least have your team help out a little bit. He doesn't have anything to really support him. Long sightlines on third point allow for you to have the defensive advantage where they have to peek you. Being able to rotate under the dome in the middle when they push up. So like if they push up to here, and so they have supports that are back here, being able to rotate on Widow to up here, come underneath, go up the top, whatever it may be, windows over here. You can control a lot of sightlines on Widow and a lot of long sightlines. Well, on McCree, it's very mid-range, and you just don't get as much out of it. It's just not as good of a pick. So, kind of thinking about why you're swapping heroes and what hero is going to be the best. So if you see a Hog Winston, what is good against Hog Winston? Winston's going to be alone. You know, what is Winston's goal? What is he going for? If the answer is you, okay, so you have to be more aware of him if you're going to play Widow. But it's like, if I'm getting on Widow here, what am I doing really well here on Widow? What is my best goals? Well, I'm probably not killing Hog very often. You just gotta have to whittle him down over time. You've been killing supports pretty well. Probably can do that a little bit more. How can I do that a little bit more? It's like, okay, if I come over here to do that, force the Winston to dive onto you. Let's say the Winston's here and forces him to dive onto you. Just drop down into your team. Now you've forced a cooldown out of the Winston and kept this Ana on high alert. So whoever's up here isn't getting support for a few seconds. So there's kind of a lot. I'm not saying this is not a lot of to it, and I'm sorry if it's a little overwhelming. I just want to make sure I give you everything I can. And for 3, so I kind of want to cop out and give you like a kind of a little bit of a cop-out answer, which would have been, you know, not listening to your teammates as much, because they asked you to go McCree, or no, did they ask you to McCree? They asked you to not play Widow, and then they asked you to go Reaper. And both of those were just not the answer, right? Like, yes, technically, you know, if they wanted to give them Widow, that's fine. And like, if you didn't want to tilt them, that's fine. And you wanted to maybe give them a chance, but you were doing fine on Widow. Widow was not the problem. It really wasn't. Positioning towards the end kind of became the problem, yes, but filling for teammates, playing what they want you to play, not always the best, especially where you're at right now. Everybody, there's a few elos: High Masters, Low Diamond, to name a few, which are all the players that think they are the hottest shit on the planet. No cap. All of the High Masters players think they deserve GM, but their teammates always hold them back, and that they're pretty much perfect, and they'll flame anybody, anytime, ever. Then there's the Low Diamond people who just got out of Plat, so like they think they're better than all their Plat friends, and like now they're Diamond, so like now they're like next level good. And both of those are like probably the most cancerous tiers in my opinion. But either way though, so I kind of want to say, maybe I'll do 4 then. Trust yourself. Wow, that's the worst T I've ever done. Yourself. Cool. You know what? Yeah, I like that one actually a little bit better. Just because if you trust yourself on these flanks, if you trust that you can hit these shots, if you trust that you can pull off these plays and start to go for them, golden rule of thumb of climbing in Overwatch is testing how much you can get away with. If you can get away with being in their backline for the entire game, you be in the backline the entire game. If you can't get away with it, then you find something else you might be able to get away with. Or just like, if the line is here, right? Let's say here it is. And this is like best, and this is worst, like the most you can get away with. You always want to start with here, right? Like at the end. And then like if you get punished, then you go back here. Then you get punished, maybe go back here, and then you get punished, maybe go back here, and then punished, get back here, and start to try a little bit, like little by little, how much you can get away with in a single game, or with a team, or whatever it is, and figure out, okay, what kind of limits can I push here? And also on top of that too, trusting what your picks are. Trust your picks, because, like I said earlier with the silvers, blind leading the blind sometimes. So. Hey guys, if you want to stay up to date with the latest, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, or join Discord. And if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. For more information on how to submit a VOD for review of coaching, please check the information in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching!